In this video, you will learn 5 things that you can do right now that will get your man addicted to you. That's right, 5 psychologically based tips that will have him thinking about you constantly and craving to spend as much time with you as possible. Don't go anywhere because we're starting right now. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Antonio Borrello and I'm a psychologist and a relationship coach. This channel is all about helping you build great relationships so you can grow happy with the people you love. So if you're interested in making your love life the best part of your life, start now by clicking the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you aren't missing anything. Okay, how to get him addicted to you. When you're excited about a new person that you really like, it's an amazing feeling. You find yourself thinking about him a lot. You catch yourself daydreaming about the time you spent together and replaying all the cute things that happened. And you imagine and visualize what the next date will be like. Or you simply wonder about him and what he's doing. And it keeps happening all day. Every few minutes you're reminded of him and you have a smile on your face. You're thinking about him, craving him, and can't wait until the next time you see or talk to him. It's almost like you have a natural addiction to him. And that's because of what happens to your brain when you're falling in love. See, romantic love is very much a natural addiction. When we are in love with the person, we are chemically addicted to that person. In fact, falling in love has similar effects on the brain as cocaine does on the brains of a user. So when we are falling in love, we experience the same types of cravings and yearning that an addict feels when they are addicted to a substance. Now, psychologists and behavioral scientists have studied the addiction process for decades, and we know a lot about how people become addicted. And the good news, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this information to make your man think about you, crave you, and become addicted to you. But before we can get into that, I need you to understand 2 things. First, these are not tips that I made up. These are tips that are based on theories of behavioral psychology and motivation, and they really do work. And secondly, these tips are powerful, but they're not magical. These tips aren't going to make an uninterested man suddenly addicted to you. But if he was initially attracted to you at some point, these tips will certainly pique his curiosity and get him thinking about you and craving you like never before. That's for sure. So without further ado, here's number 1. Number 1, always leave him wanting more. Whether you're on a date with him, or on the phone with him, or texting him, you have to leave him wanting more of you 90% of the time. Again, if you want him to become addicted to you, regardless of how much fun you're having or how connected you're feeling, you have to end your dates, your conversations, and your experiences early and leave him wanting more. You must resist the urge to follow the date or experience or conversation through to its natural progression. You have to be the one who ends things on a high note and leave him wanting more. So just when things are going well, just when you're feeling the chemistry, just when you are wishing that this date would never end, yeah, that's when you have to say that you're getting tired, or you have someplace to be, or some other excuse to end the evening. The point is to end the date before it gets to the fizzle point. Even if you could talk all night, you need to resist. So leave after a couple of hours and at that particular moment when he feels the most confident that the date is going well. This will make him remember the date more fondly, and it shifts the power directly to you and creates the craving part in him. Trust me, this is super difficult to do, but it's also the most powerful. Number 2, be the woman he can't get enough of. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, simply put, when you're with him, you're going to create a vibe that makes him feel amazing. When you're with him, he's going to be feeling happy and on top of the world. And you're going to be the person he wants to be with the most. So you must create that dynamic, that vibe that he can't get anywhere else. And you create that by doing 3 things every time you're together. The first thing, every time you're with him, and ideally in the beginning parts of your date, you're going to connect with him by using his name along with positive words of praise and admiration. That's right, you're going to say his first name when you're talking to him. The reason? Our brains involuntarily respond to the sound of our own names. And this has been demonstrated in countless studies. Just do a Google search on it and you'll see. Hearing your own name causes your brain to react as if you're engaging in the behaviors and thought pattern that serve as some part of your core identity and personality markers. And when you connect his name with words of admiration and appreciation, it will make him feel great. It will make him feel appreciated in a way that has a profound effect on his feelings for you. The second thing, give him the look of love through prolonged eye contact. So while he's talking to you, while you're doing whatever it is you're doing together, I want you to look deeply into his eyes and think about how much you want him. Think about how attracted you are to him, and hold that stare. Give him your most seductive look, because prolonged eye contact or gazing into someone's eyes increases attraction. I've talked about this in previous videos. Your eyes are the windows to the soul. Your eyes are the windows to your heart. And when it comes to falling in love, how you communicate with your eyes can make all the difference. That's because prolonged eye contact can cause two people to feel attraction towards one another. So again, make sure you're making that connection with him through the eyes. And again, feel those feelings when you're looking at him. And the third thing, smile when you're around him. Smiling makes everyone look more attractive and approachable because it conveys expressions of joy and happiness. And when you're smiling in response to seeing someone, it makes them feel like you're smiling because of them. So when you're with your man, and especially when you are first greeting each other, make sure you give him a genuine smile and maintain that eye contact. So using his name, giving him the look of love, and smiling and expressing happiness are three simple things, but make no mistake about it. Using them together is super powerful and will make him feel like no one else can. So make sure you use these. Number 3, vary the timing of your responses to text messages. Varying the timing of your responses is based on the concept of variable interval reinforcement schedule. In psychology, a variable interval reinforcement schedule is a powerful operant conditioning tool used to shape behavior and learning. So let me explain. Operant conditioning is a learning process through which the strength of a behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. Think of how you train a puppy to learn a trick. You give him an instruction, he performs the trick, and you reward him with a treat. But if you stop giving the puppy a treat after he performs the trick, he will eventually stop performing the trick. That makes sense, right? Now, taking this a step further, behavioral psychologists know that changing the rate or time interval of giving a reinforcement has powerful effects on maintaining the desired behavior. For example, if you're gambling and playing a slot machine, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But you know for sure that if you keep playing, you will eventually win. A person playing a slot machine will continue putting money into the slot machine because she never knows when the next reinforcement is coming. She keeps thinking that with the next quarter, she could win $50 or $100 or even more. So people keep trying and hoping that the next time they will win big. This is one of the reasons that gambling is so addictive and so resistant to extinction. Now, back to your texting. In plain English, once you've established that he's interested and you've also shown him that you're interested, you're going to vary the amount of time it takes you to respond to his text messages. Simply put, when he texts you, sometimes you will respond within seconds, sometimes within minutes, sometimes within hours, and sometimes you might even forget to respond. And when you do that, he is going to keep checking his phone to see if you responded. And that means that he's also going to be thinking of you. And when you do respond, he's going to be excited to read it, and he's going to get a hit of dopamine as part of that reward. And that just reinforces his behavior and motivation for you even more. Think about what happens when you are interested in a guy and you text him, and sometimes he responds right away. Sometimes it takes him 30 minutes, and sometimes it takes him hours. When he doesn't respond right away, what does it do to you? Well, if you like him, you are probably wondering what he's doing. Is he busy? Is he working? Is he away from his phone? Did he forget about me? Am I right? I mean, I know I've been there before. But does it make you like him any less? Or does it simply cause you to think about him more? Doesn't it make you check your phone more and think about what he's doing? It sure does. So vary the rate in which you respond and try to make it as random as possible. Again, sometimes you respond immediately, sometimes within minutes, sometimes within hours, and yes, sometimes I want you to not respond, especially if he didn't ask a specific question. Of course, if he double texts you, then you need to respond and tell him that you forgot. Number 4, allow him to pursue you. Too often, women flip the switch and start pursuing a man rather than leaning back and allowing him to pursue her. And when this happens, he no longer has to exert any effort to prove he's worthy of you. Remember, people appreciate and value the things that they have to work hard for. If you give him all of your affection and time and attention in the beginning, what does he have to work hard for? He doesn't, and consequently you lose value and his attraction for you goes down. So you have to stop pursuing him. That means that you have to stop texting him between dates. And you cannot be initiating communications with him. Instead, you must let him do it. Look, I know that this one is a difficult one to do because you like him, you miss him, and you want to talk to him. It's hard not to reach out because you want to be connected and communicating. But if you want a man to really want you, you must pull away and allow him to miss you. Allow him to pursue you. He's a man and he needs to do that. Number 5, have no expectations. I know it's difficult to not think about the future when you really like someone. At the same time, it's important to tame your expectations before you've really gotten to know someone. So take any expectations out of your mind, because when you make something a goal, 2 things happen. First, you start planning and living in the future, and then you constantly measure your progress towards that goal. And secondly, when you start thinking of this new person as the one, you will start daydreaming and romanticizing a relationship that doesn't even exist yet and may never exist. So instead of being able to be present and engaged in this moment, you're stuck in a future where you're assuming so much. You're daydreaming and fantasizing of all the amazing times that you'll share. And that causes you to elevate the importance of this relationship a great deal. And when you put too much into this outcome, you become too invested in a future that you can't control. And that causes anxiety. When you really like someone, when you really want someone, the stakes are higher. The level of importance you attach to that person is higher, and your level of anxiety and fear of losing that person goes way up. And when that happens, any insecurities that you may have about the relationship manifest in your interactions with him. And guess what happens? He feels it. He notices those insecurities, and it lowers your value in his eyes and makes you seem needy or clingy or even desperate. And then before you know it, he's running for the hills. And that's when you realize that you're dealing with the pain and frustration of unrequited love. I've made a video that explains how to deal with these very difficult relationships. You can click here to watch that video now, or click here to watch the video that YouTube thinks that you like. I'll see you in the next video.